Hello there, and welcome to another Ignition podcast episode. I'm Lucas.
And I'm Eduardo.
And today, this episode will give you two things: doubts about the future and key insights to grow and scale your business. Now, hey dude, today is going to be a surprise for you. But first of all, I want to ask you how are you? How are things going in Rio de Janeiro right now?
Very good. Rio is finally getting a little bit colder. We are getting into the autumn.
Colder?
Almost winter finally. So I can use normal clothing for once.
Right. You are a winter guy, by the way, right? You are a winter guy.
Yes, I am a very winter guy. I don't like sweating. So
man,
Rio is not the best place for me.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. You're definitely not in the right place. Here in the south,
but I'm trying.
Temperatures are dropping, man. Yeah, you would love this place. You would love this place. Temperatures are dropping significantly. I'm already having my blankets out of the closet, so winter's coming.
I wish I were using blankets.
Yeah. Well, who knows? But now I gotta ask you two questions before we move in. Okay. We actually move on to the subject. I got two questions, and they're not gonna seem related, but I swear they're gonna make sense in the end of the episode. Okay, you ready?
Okay, hit me.
Okay, first one. Have you ever played the first Doom game, the one from the 90s?
Yes, but only on emulator, just because I wanted to see.
Right.
It was already a little bit of an older game when I played.
Right.
But yeah, I played a little bit. I didn't finish it. I was not able to, because when I was playing, I was trying to do my best in the game, but it's actually hard, really hard.
It is, and it was a revolutionary game for the category of FPS, right? First person shooter.
Yeah, it was the first of its kind when it launched.
I think you could play that on PlayStation 1, if I'm mistaken, by the way. I think you could.
I don't know.
Right? Yeah, I think you could. But here's the second question: do you hate fruit flies?
Fruit flies.
I know.
Hate them. I don't know. They are there. I don't appreciate them a lot, but I don't hate it.
Hate is a way stronger. I think it's such a strong word to hate, right? Well, I definitely dislike them. Now, believe it or not, I'm gonna address both things with studies, okay, to back them. And actually, they might be those questions. They're gonna be key for the future of AI. Especially AI agents.
Okay.
Yeah. Let that sink, man.
Okay. Fruit flies and Doom. Okay.
And Doom. And they are related. And they're gonna actually help you grow your business. Okay, you ready for that?
Okay.
Okay. Let's go for it.
Let's see this.
Let's start with the latest, with the oldest study, okay? It's about the fruit flies. Now, basically what happened is, this international team composed by scientists from both UK and US, recently, and I'm talking 2024, so it's still recent, they achieved a significant development by simulating an entire brain digitally of a fruit fly. Okay.
Oh, I saw this.
You saw that one? You saw that one?
Man, I know. I saw the call for the title.
Right.
That they did it.
So a little bit what I'm talking about, where I'm going, right? Thing is, the whole simulation could run in a laptop, a regular laptop. We ain't talking about those huge gamer, the last generation laptops. We're talking about a normal laptop. The simulation could just run there. Now the thing is, and this is gonna get a little black mirror now, okay? Man, they used AI and electron microscopy to simulate all those neural brain stimulus within the program. It actually could map so precisely the brain of the fruit fly, that it would actually do the natural movements, flying and interacting with objects and drinking and doing fly stuff, So
in a simulation.
In a simulation, yeah. Now, as stupid or unrelated it might seem at first, this actually can point us to the future of AI agents. And why is that?
Are you gonna tell me that they made the fly play Doom?
No, no. Hold up. It's gonna make sense.
I don't know.
No. We didn't get to that point yet. Okay. We might, not just yet. No, actually, man, that research can basically pave the way for future modeling of complex brains and advancements in AI. So, what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
Well, we can start with predictive simulation, for example. Like the digital model accurately was capable of predict how the fly's brain respond to sensory inputs, like the wind, like objects simulating foods or whatever. So that's how accurate the AI was, you know, and the mapping was, and also the efficiency, like the on standard hardware, because as you know, like there is a physical limit that we're going through, right, with AI, with chips, and that's the like I think solving that problem creatively is the like one of the most important things we got to do within the next years. And this organically driven kind of processing information can be like one of the most creative ways to, you know, maybe replace like a huge gigantic hardware. As you know, like computers, they once before was like would occupy a whole building, you know, and today we, right, and today we have like cell phones, telephones that are like 20 times more complex and better than those. So I think that's where we're heading. What do you think?
Yeah,
about that?
not only this, the phone, like the phone itself is like a chip this size. What we see,
True.
the big phone is actually the screen. Like if you're talking about the what's doing the processing in the brain of the phone itself, it's not like this size. The phone itself, the processing, the information, it's like the chip is like this size. So yeah, we are hitting a size limit not only because of like what we see from the phones, and it's because it's like really small.
Right. Yeah. And also like, of course, we're going to see like more software improvements as well to reduce the amount of resources, right? And the hardware limitations to make it like more efficient, that's for sure. But the whole hardware idea, like from a biological perspective, that's crazy because basically right now we're operating with this black box machine learning, right? That's how we're operating right now. So the thing is, we might be seeing like the start of a new revolution from like the black box kind of machine learning to a biologically inspired way of learning of machine learning.
Yeah, I asked, and my question is like, how is it done? Because for example, I know that the LLMs have like, you have to follow orders to how it learns, but to like map out a brain, it's not only the connections in or the way that it learns or it responds, but also the complexity and the amount of like data in a second, in one thought, right?
Absolutely.
So it's not only the response, but like how does it function to the volume of information that it's given, you know? Because I know it's not only a hardware limitation, but it's also a software limitation that we have to create smarter LLMs. Not only because we don't know how to map it better. Of course, we are using the brain imagery. We have to try to understand how it works and try to mimic it, right? But like, I don't know how. What is the tech behind it?
Oh, there's a whole tech behind it. I'm not a scientist, but the things I saw that it basically took like more than 4 years, 5 years, and actually AI was helping, like mapping as well. But researchers would have actually reviewed the whole thing to make sure it was accurate, right? Because as you know, like AIs are really good with putting information and connecting dots together, but still they might be doing mistakes. So researchers had to review the whole thing. And once the brain was mapped, entirely digitally like mapped, we're talking about like more than, I think it was 140,000 neurons, right? And 45 million synapses. That's on a fruit fly. Now you imagine the potential for a human brain. Of course, that is a whole other level of complexity, right?
Yeah, it's like astronomical magnitude of difference that we're talking about, like a bunch of zeros.
It's another level. But the thing is, it was promising because once they actually mapped the whole thing, AI was able to predict what the fruit would do, like what its brain would do under certain circumstances, right? Now, one thing is to do that with an animal, with an insect, which is already very complex, by the way, but doing that with a human, and that's, my friend, that's why we're going to move on with Doom, okay?
Okay.
Now, we're talking about a fruit fly, which is already like really interesting. And, you know, as I told you, as some outputs, we can talk about how that simulation runs on a laptop. So we're talking about huge economical solutions for like possibly for AI agents in the future, right? Driven by this biological hardware, let's say like that. Let's put it like that. So it will take a lower cost to produce a lot of interesting results, a lot of interesting outputs. That could solve a lot of problems at once. For example, the water usage we have right now, right? The space that is needed for like data centers, huge data centers. We're talking about like whole markets shift if we actually move that way. But that's just one or two or three like outputs, key insights we can get from there. Now, when we move to the Doom thing, that's when things go south. Okay, you ready?
Okay, I'm interested.
Now, there is this Australian startup. It's called Cortical Labs, right? It has successfully taught a cluster of 200,000 living human brain cells. They were like grown in a silicon chip. It's CL1, it's called. And it actually was trained. They actually did it to play Doom, the 1993 game Doom. Yeah, in 2026. Okay. Yeah, for that they basically use like, electrodes. Yeah. Sorry, go for it.
Like they were observing human brain and made it play Doom. I didn't get it. Like
right. So they basically have grown 200,000 living human brain cells on a silicon chip. You know, like when you get a microscope and you try to take a sample of blood, basically that's what they did with brain cells. So they cultivated that.
Brain cells. Okay, you mean neurons?
Yeah, neurons. Yeah, brain cells, neurons. That's what they did. 200,000, right? And they basically used electrodes, and the neurons actually received like electrical inputs. And like that, they decoded the control movement and shooting, like showing rapid learning capabilities. So basically they use like electricity, they grew this, I'm talking about like from a perspective of someone who's not like a scientist, of course, right? But that's like what happened like in the gross way to say. They basically have grown those neurons, they did like some electrical inputs in it, and it was capable of interpreting like movements, like the camera movement to play and the shooting movement to play. And it was able to actually
So you're telling me that a petri dish with a bunch of random brain cells were thinking.
That's what the startup claims to have achieved.
Okay, man. Okay. Man.
I'm just a messenger, man. I'm just a messenger.
I want to read this. I don't know.
You go for it. When I actually read that, I was like, nah, come on. Okay. Nah, it can't be. But actually, yeah, it seems like it was true. The
this brain cell was receiving like electrical inputs. It was reading Doom and then receiving back electrical inputs, and these inputs were playing Doom.
We're playing Doom. That's what happened.
Okay. Okay.
Man. Now, I don't know. It's just it's just what happened, right? It's just what happened. As far as I'm concerned, that's what happened. And the thing is, like, the game's video feed is converted in electrical stimuli, right? For those neurons. So, for example, when the demons appear, specific electrodes fire to provide input for the brain cells, for the neurons.
Okay.
And when the neurons react, that's when the electrical firing patterns are interpreted by software and as inputs, like move, shoot. That's how it's happening. That's how it's working so far, right? And the neurons, or like the dish brain, they learn faster than conventional artificial intelligence. So that's where we're moving now, right? Like they display like evidence. Oh wait, let me get this right. Yeah, they display evidence of learning and goal-seeking behavior. Like for example, navigating to avoid death. Within, do you know how much it took for them to actually figure that out?
I don't know. For me, it's instinctive, right? You're starting to play and then you don't want to die. So I think like seconds, maybe.
Actually, it took a week. But if it was seconds, dang, that'd be crazy.
I was thinking like, if it's a brain and you're put in a situation of life and death, like in a video game, then your immediate response, like seconds, is, oh, I should run to keep alive and keep playing, right? This is what we as humans playing like have this immediate response, right? So I was thinking that the brain in a petri dish should have the same response, but a little bit delayed. So that was my thought process. So maybe like seconds, if ours is instinctive and electricity is so fast, my delay was like seconds. But yeah, it made sense to be like weeks, since it's not a full developed brain, right?
True, true, and also like the coordination to play, man. Because like we are gamers,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
we're used to that. But like you know,
No,
you
but
put someone who never
I
played.
was thinking like when I started playing Doom that I was
Oh,
like 10, 12. I was not a
okay,
gamer
okay,
yet. Like,
okay. True, no, makes sense. But we're talking about limited amounts, so might be that. But it's still like the fact that I actually got it to work.
yeah,
That's wild. That's wild.
that's
Huh.
wild. If it's like real random petri dish brain thinking and playing, that's insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I think that's the like the intersection, right, from the Dune thing to the fruit fly experience, like how you can actually use biological inputs, and that's the first the first key insight I would actually get from this whole thing, this whole like fantastic thing. But unfortunately or not, seems to be true. Of how biological inputs and biological hardware might be the future to get more advanced and low cost like AI agents to work for us, right? And that, my friend, it does, right? But think about it, man. Like, which are the boundaries? Because of course that would be amazing, but it also like raises some questions about ethics. Like, how further can we go with those human, when talking about human especially, right? And even animals. Like, what about their, I don't know.
Creating humans or animals, we are understanding the mechanisms of the creation of thought, of how the brain works. So if we are using this for AI, as long as we are not creating like literal humans, we are just interpreting behavior so it knows how to behave like it. I don't think it's a problem because it's like it's just a behavior, you know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain because
Right.
for me
So
it's
far.
a lot simpler. Yeah, so far, so far. Like it's a problem if you know like how to. Let me do the worst case scenario. Let's say I
Go for
want
it.
to
Go for it.
use AI for the worst. I want to rob people. So you
Oh
know
my.
that kind of scams that people call your dad and fake that they are you.
Right. Right.
Of course, if we have an AI that can literally simulate how someone thinks, it might be good enough that he might think the same way I do and try to simulate how I speak. Not only the voice changer or voice cloning, but like behavior and thought process. Imagine my dad had something like, oh, okay, let me ask you then, what would you do in X situation just to know that it is you? And then this AI that knows how to replicate human behavior
Replicate our
and
answer.
human thinking knows how to interpret how I would think based on the audio it used to clone my voice. Understand? So
That's
it
true.
could be like really bad, and then my dad would, like, for example, trust it that it is me because it knew how to respond the
Recognize
way
how
I
you talk,
would.
right?
Yeah, recognize it like it was me, and then yeah,
Right.
this would be a bad way to use it. But I think that it's, of course, it may be used for this, but I don't think that this is the use for it. Like, even to use
Right.
this for scams, it would be a lot of, work, processing power, and like I don't know if
True.
it would be like feasible to have the amount of money back. I don't know, use it for scams.
Right.
It's
Right.
not like,
Even though people are already doing that with the technology, like with AI we have right now, right? So that's true. That is
yeah,
true. But
but it's just voice cloning. It's not like the huge thought process. You just clone a
yeah,
voice
yeah, yeah.
and then the scammer try to pass itself as you.
Right.
So
You still need
it's a
some
lot
input,
more
like
primitive. Yeah,
true.
the lesser work they have on their hands, the easier it is to apply the scams. So if it
Absolutely.
becomes super complex, then why are you scamming in the first place? Why are you not earning money
No,
with the
no,
technology?
that makes sense. But when I was referring like to the boundaries, I was referring like to the boundaries on the research on getting those brains mapped. Because one thing is an insect,
No, yeah.
right? But think about a rabbit. Think about a cow, and we can go deeper in that. It's actually like literally a rabbit hole we can get into. Like think about a
Yeah.
human. Think about a human, and like
Yeah,
so.
but that's my question. Like, what would be the problem? Because you're not creating humans. You're not promising to create a human or to simulate like your dead father in a simulation, like, oh,
Right, right,
here's
right,
his
right.
brain. right? You're
Right.
not promising this, so I don't see the problem.
But what makes
Like,
you unique? Is it your brain? Is it your mind? How do you measure your mind, right? And I think that's the main thing that I'm trying
this is the
to ask,
ship
right?
of Theseus again. Like,
Yeah,
if you
again.
have the ship and then you change one board and then another board and then another board and then you have a whole new ship already fixed, is it the same ship?
Right. It ain't. Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I got it. I got it.
It's the same with us. Like, what makes us? But we are changing cells every. It depends on the cell, of course. Some cells you change them in a week. Some cells in a month. Some cells in a year.
True.
But
True.
the cells I have today, every cell from my body is not the same cells from when I was born. So, am
True.
I the same person that was born? Am I the
Well,
same?
in a way, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it does
So
make sense.
that's
It
the
does make sense.
question. If we don't have an answer for this, because like I know I am me, and if I sleep and wake up, I am the same person. In a year, I will be the same person, even though all my cells will change. Like,
Right.
at least 90% of my cells will not be the same. So I don't think that you will be creating consciousness or another person,
Oh,
or is it
right.
alive or not,
Right. I don't know if you
or
remember
is
that
it
episode
you
on
is it
Black
not?
Mirror. Yeah, there's an episode of.
You
You
mean
remember that
talk
one?
about the episode that the girl like clones itself inside of the computer, and then is it her, is it not her, is it conscious, is it not?
Then you know
Yeah,
me.
that's
You
the
know me.
questioning. Yeah, yes. I
See,
like
that's
this
the thing
episode.
because if we, I love that episode, man. The thing is, if we reach that level of, let's say, consciousness, that's when you're gonna doubt about, like, we're gonna put in a stake what's consciousness, what's being unique, what's reality, and we're gonna get all back to Matrix again, dude. That, right? What's reality? But anyways, I want to ask you, like, you know, throughout all these subjects we just talked about, like the fruit fly experiment, the research, and the research on doom with brain cells. How do you see that, like, for businessmen, like to solo founders? How do you think, like, is one or two inputs, like key insights they can, like, get from our podcast episode today and just go for their lives?
My main insight is play Doom. No, I'm kidding. Just play Doom.
Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
Recommending. No, but I mean, the first thing we have to say is think outside the box, because like if you're seeing
Nice.
like how to interpret data and how to create new, for example, in the example of the fruit fly, why fruit fly, you know? So you have to think, what can we map, what's easier, what's the first step we can make to creating new ways to understand and like get information and interpret information and then act on it. So they didn't go to humans first, they didn't go to dogs first, they went to the most primitive way of brain, not the most, but one of the most primitives we had, with the, how do I say this, it's the lowest but the highest we could do, because we know we can't map a brain of a cow, but we know we don't have to go so low like a jellyfish. So what is the middle point? What is the highest we can go for the lowest there is to understand the basis of how do we think, you know? So the closest to us, but the highest we can get to. It's the limit testing, right? So they must have tried with small animals, maybe, I don't know, a reptile or something small, and then they saw like, we can't see everything, we can't understand everything. So what is the lowest you can go, but the highest you are able to understand, and then be trying in this limit, you know? That's the limit testing. I think this is important for entrepreneurs to see how the market behaves, how are your clients understanding you, and what you can do to do better, have a better product, and get to more people and grow your business, you know? So going further, limit testing, trying new things, not being afraid to try new things. If you were trying for humans, like out of the box, you are putting more than you can chew in your mouth. So You're
True.
trying too
True.
much, too hard, and then you're gonna fail, and then you're gonna be frustrated. So how can you fail good enough that you have a lot of information and maybe succeed? That's the question. Like, if you are doing, I don't know,
Nice.
this is not only for AI, this is for any business. And for example, emails, like if you're trying to send emails to too many people, like how much is enough? How much is enough that you don't hurt your reputation and you can send to everyone,
Right.
and then
Right.
the next day you try a little bit more, and then the next day a little bit more. You can't like start with 2 billion emails out of the box. It's too much money, it's too much work, and it's gonna like not work at all because you'll be a spammer like literally out
There
of
you
the
go.
box. So you get to limit test what you are doing with a little bit more
Interesting.
every time. So for whom, where, the market, the research you do, everything has to be as close as possible to your limit, always a little bit further, and then always testing and upgrading. That's the idea from the fruit fly, where we are going, and like what I can interpret from it.
I like that, man. I like that. If I had to point out something, I would say bigger is not always better. One thing that the fruit fly brain simulation showed is like you don't have to have a whole system like a very complex hardware to actually run a very complex thing, an effective thing. So talking about entrepreneurship, right? And from the point of view from entrepreneurs, I think like headcount is not a synonym of efficiency. You don't need like a lot of tools to jiggle with, like to mess with, and a bigger team or a bigger budget to be more effective. I think that's the key point I would take from the fruit fly experiment. So like build lean and focus systems so that you can do more with less. I think that's the first input, the first insight I would take from it. And also, man, the second one will be like the best system is the one that learns faster. Like, I think that the one common thing we saw with both experiments is how fast they learn, right? From the Dune experiment.
It is important nowadays.
It is, especially when everyone is leveraging AI. Last episode we created with Daniel, right, this podcast, it was awesome, by the way. We talked about entrepreneurship and how to actually start your own startup. So it's going to be linked here if you want to watch it after. And he said that AI is not like a competitive edge anymore because everybody's using it, right? So in a time where everybody's using AI, like in all market, like in every single market you can think of, AI is not an advantage anymore. It's just like a common thing. Everyone should be using that as a tool. But a system that actually learns from what you're doing, like live, that's what actually changes things, right? And you react to what's happening as it's happening, not after. And you don't need like a whole sales team to do that. And when I talk about that, like I gotta cite Anubis. Now, Anubis is that system that's going to do that for you, especially if you do cold outreach. Okay. Now, as you do cold outreach, you want to be sure you're not just wasting your time talking to the void, right? Nor you're just wasting your time setting technical stuff by yourself. Like you have 10 mailboxes to set up, DNS records. You know how complex that operation can get. And you got to focus on actually closing deals. Now, Anubis not only gives you a system that works by itself on autopilot, but it also gives you the human input. You're going to have like a customer manager working with you to actually make the most of the system. So if you want to leverage that in your business today, that's my recommendation for you. That and playing Doom, of course. That will be my second recommendation. Right?
And also, for my example, we also have a recommendation. For me, I would recommend to you Warmy, because for example, as I said, if you are a businessman that use a lot of email, that do a lot of outreach, even if you use something like Anubis and you do a lot of outreach, tools like Warmy, for example, they are very good in managing your reputation, making your reputation be good enough so you don't fall as spammers. Because like even small business that send small emails like, you just bought our product, is it okay? Do you want anything else? Or even a promotion
Transactional
or a code? Yeah, the transactions. So if you have like 100 clients and they all buy from your, I don't know, your business, and then you're sending them emails and you are not used to sending them emails. They just made their first purchase, and then you send them email back. sending these emails constantly to users you are not used to will hurt your reputation, especially if they don't answer back, they block you, they mark you as spammers,
As spam.
or all the things that might happen that lower your reputation to the ESPs. And then you are not sending emails anymore. You're always falling in spams, even though your emails are very legit. They are just promo codes and just conclusions to purchases.
True.
So tools like Warmy will manage your reputation, will guide you to having the highest reputation you can, so you are not falling as spammer, especially if you are doing outreach, that you are sending more emails than just responding to purchases. Then yeah,
Absolutely.
the problem is there, the reputation problem is there, the deliverability problem is there, because you will be sending a lot of email, doing a lot of campaigns, and then Warmy will be there to guide you and make your reputation be as good as it can be, so you can send as many emails you can and do your marketing campaigns with success.
There you go. I like that one. The last thing I actually wanted to say is like, and that's for you if you're a marketer, especially if you're a marketer.
Yeah.
Clear explanations, they create trust. So this is just a reminder that both stories that we brought here today, if you actually go like at bottom line of them, they are kind of complex. They're like they have a lot of scientific facts about them. The thing is, when you turn those stories, those complex researches, into like useful knowledge, into interesting things for your audience, that's when you build trust. So turn your product, turn your solutions into like actually, tell your audience how they actually solve a problem. Tell how useful they are. Turn those complex stories, that complex product of yours, or that complex SaaS of yours, your startup solution, like in actually a clear and interesting story that your audience actually want to hear. And that was today. What do you think?
Yes. I think it was a great episode, man. Like talking
Me
about
too, man.
talking about the brain, it's always a blast.
Talking about the brain and games. I mean,
yeah, and connecting it to games. Come on.
and connecting
I
it with
wish
like
my
actually
mom
key
had.
insights.
I wish my mom had this podcast back in the 90s.
Back in the day. Absolutely, man. Well, if you like this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that beautiful bell so you won't lose the next ones to come. There's way more planning to come. Edu, thank you so much, man.
Yes, thank you, man.
And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.